Hello, it's Nikki. How are you doing? I have a money chat for you today. And today I'm talking around the conversation of free work. And I want to open up this chat because I think sometimes free work can be sneaky, and maybe we don't mean to give our services away for free, but we end up doing so, and then it's only until after the situation we feel like, I don't know, it just feels a bit, energetically, it just feels a bit peculiar. And quite often that comes from boundaries maybe being a bit wobbly, or our careers are maybe not as quite as sort of defined as maybe other industries. So I'm going to use one example of a masseuse. So when a masseuse is massaging you, it's very clear that that is occurring. The massage has started, the massage has finished, and that's what it is. However, if you are a service-based industry and it's based on consulting or having conversations with people, it's quite difficult sometimes to define those moments where you are in service and you are working, and those moments where you're passing the time of day. And to give you a bit of backstory, because I think that's always really important, I have made every mistake under the sun, I think, in terms of free work. But as I go through this process of really analysing this, and I really feel like I'm in a position after 20 years to talk about this and to bring this to the table, because for a long time, I just assumed that this was just part of it and you had to put up with it, and that was just part of the process, really. And so here are a couple of things that happened for me in the beginning. So if we are meeting for the first time or you don't know my story, the very quick version is I moved to London when I was 18 and I got a place at a top drama school in London and studied for 3 years. I had never met a paid actor before that moment. And so when I moved down at 18, I was very much seeing it from a creative perspective, and oh my goodness, I can't believe my luck. I can't believe all of those childhood dreams that I had have actually come true. I'm here. I made it. Wow. And I just was in this place of being so grateful all the time. Now, gratitude is a wonderful thing because we've also met people who are not grateful or not polite or don't have nice manners, and that's not what we want to be either. But I was sickeningly so, like overly, oh my goodness, I can't believe it, like a competition winner. And the thing is, I didn't win a competition. I won a place because I worked hard for it, and I studied and I did what was required, and I was one of the best to deserve a place. And again, I feel really awkward saying that, but it's true. You have, I think it's a 1 in 1,000 chance of being able to get in, or 1 in 100, something like that. Maybe it's even less. Forget I said any stats. It's a high percentage anyway, or a small percentage rather, of you getting in. And then at the end of my second year, I decided to stay in London between my second and my third year. And honestly, that was one of the best things that I did. I decided to stay here and work. And I think I worked for about 10 weeks or something like that. And I got a job in a theatre, 8 shows a week, ice creams, programs, all of that sort of stuff. And I was surrounded by jobbing actors, working actors, and that was so powerful going into my third year because I got to understand how actors were operating. I got to listen into, I mean, they were right next to me speaking in a loud voice. It wasn't like I was up against the wall or something. I got to listen into conversations with their agent. I got to hear about how somebody's audition went, or that they're down to the last 2 for something. And I really got an insight into the industry. So when I went into my third year, I was beyond ready. I was like, right, I know what I need to do. I'm focused. I took all of this industry information into that third year. And I actually got an agent and 2 jobs back to back in that third year. So I left early. And I think that a lot of that was down to me understanding the industry and what that was all about. The second thing that would happen is this sense of, so this is not related to acting necessarily, but if you're an actor, it will completely apply to you. This sense of always being available. And always being available, you never know what's around the corner. You should get yourself out there. You never know who you're going to meet. And that is an interesting one, because what you could spend your time doing is just filling your diary and going to things all the time. And I learned very, very early on that you have to be selective to around how you spend your free time. Because if you're not, you're going to not necessarily be working effectively in alignment with your goals. And so I really paid attention to those things. And again, there's so many networking events, there's so many things that you could go to, but really ask yourself why you are going to those things. What are you hoping to get out of? What's drawing you to those things? Because otherwise what can happen is you end up just traveling all the time, or having conversations with people who are not your ideal clients, or they have really conflicting business ethos to you, and it doesn't work for anybody. The next thing that I want to say is, alongside this, there was this conversation from all the bros marketing talking about free value. Give first, give first. And I see this for many people, especially in the online place, this sense of giving away everything all the time for free. And content creation is actually a job now. You know, it wasn't when I started, but it is a job that people get paid to do and to work with brands. And I had to cotton on to the fact that I needed to be paid for this. Wasn't an expensive hobby. This wasn't like a nice to do, or she's got an afternoon to herself, so she thought she'd make a nice little workshop for people. This was proper money. This was like moving house money. This was having 2 small children money. This wasn't like a hobby business. So every step of the way, I had to be very inquisitive as to why I was creating something. And I had that realization, and I've done loads of money work courses. I'm in a mastermind at the moment, which has brought up a lot of money conversations. And I'm just very aware of it. You know, money in some senses is not spoken about at all, but then it's kind of sneaky in another way, where it comes up and you're like, oh, I didn't realize I was doing that, but I absolutely am. And now I'm going to stop because it doesn't work for me. So let's move on to your services and how you might accidentally be giving them away for free. The first one is, I am sure you are a lovely, kind, engaging, relatable, brilliant person. I was going to say if there's another thing, but like, you're all of those things. And again, if we go back to my previous point of wanting to give, I think there comes a point where you have to understand what is for sale and what isn't. And the ways that it might be sneaky are as the following. People asking you if they could have a quick chat with you. Can I just borrow you a minute? Have you got 5 minutes? Can I take you for a coffee? And I don't want to give you a binary like this is what you always should do, but it's just something to be aware of. Because what sometimes somebody might mean by saying, can I just have a quick chat with you, is half an hour of your time that would usually be paid for by another client, or just time for yourself, you know, downtime for you. But they phrased it in such a way that you think it's just a quick chat, so you're not technically working, whereas what you are actually doing is doing that. So be really mindful about your time. The second way it might be a bit sneaky is when people say, can you tell me a bit more about your services and maybe how you can help me? And I have had all extremes of this. Like somebody was like, can you come? I actually did this. Maybe you can come round to my house one night and we'll have a cup of tea and a chat about maybe like where we go from here. And I had to stop and say, no, that's working, but without getting paid. And this thing of somebody feeling like you have to pitch to them the whole time. I mean, you could very much go into that place of like, but why? Why do I have to pitch to you? Or, you know, it just feels a bit funky. But I'm always like looking for that positive within that conversation. And if somebody is constantly saying, can you explain a bit more about what you do? Can you explain a bit more about how you can help me? What are the kinds of services that you have available? For me, that was an indication that my website was not clear. My FAQs, I need to go into more detail. I need to make a video that explains it and breaks down the process, because I am always looking at ways that I can do something once and then it goes and it's brilliant, and then people can catch it whenever they need it. So that was a little nudge to me to say, you're not being clear. Make sure you're clear. What do you need to do? And then from there, I could just send them the link. I could tell them more and then say, if you've got any questions at the end of this, feel free to let me know. I would be happy to help. The third way is when people want support, but they don't want to pay for it. So this might be coming into your DMs with a huge monologue about what's going on for them. Or that might be them saying, I'm going to send you an email and let you know what's going on. But the thing is, without boundaries in place or support, somebody might send you an email, which is a lot to digest. You know, those emails that come through and they're 7 paragraphs long. Not only does that take your time to read and go through, I am sure that you will be already coming up with answers or solutions or things like that. And then you're going to have to go back to them, which again is their time, your time rather. And yes, part of that is very much, you know, marketing your services or building up to that point of doing a proposal. But sometimes people have no intention of buying, of purchasing, and they simply just want a bit of free advice. And so on their terms, on their time, they can regurgitate all of this stuff that's going on. And in turn, just because it's a little email, they can get all of your support, resources, time in their reply. And then what might happen is this, and this hasn't happened often, but it has happened in the past. You never hear from them again. It's almost like somebody coming around, it's like the tiger who came for tea, coming around to your house, eating everything that you've got and then leaving without a trace. And you know, just in case he came back, he never did. That's what they say on the last page, don't they? So hopefully those have really helped you to come up with some awareness around maybe what's going up for you. Now, in terms of extra support here, in my Create Your Income Pie, I teach you how to create a pricing menu. And yes, it starts from free. And I think this is the thing sometimes where people don't know how to discount, or they don't know what they're selling, or they don't know how their packages align and like fall in with all of the other things. So Create Your Income Pie is a really great one to get started and really think about how you can price and package with integrity, but also meet your money goals. Thank you so much for watching. Do follow along. Do share it with somebody if you want to continue the conversation. Also, do let me know what you're going to do now that you've watched this. I would love to hear, as always, and I'll see you next time.